Oh, come on. I have some light. Whew, that's better. Of course, it's blinding me. Let's turn it down. Come on. There we go. Here's the light. It's a battery-powered thingy. My webcam is working. It turns out that my computer decided that it would not allow access to my webcam. In other words, my webcam could not be used because the computer said so. Oh well. Jane who died as an infant, so it's kind of a fantasy. Oh, I forgot to share. Oh well, I hope my regular listeners get notifications. Here's a link to the article that I found on Yahoo. And Alfonso Cuarón are partnering for Jane, an Amazon feature project based on Philip K. Dick from his daughter Isa Hackett. So I guess Isa is, it's her project. The gender bending project is based on the relationship between Dick and his twin sister Jane, who died 6 weeks after birth. The death affected Dick personally and also affected his creative work. And the article goes on. It's the in which Jane, who's dead, by the way, so it's from Electric Shepherd Productions, which is basically Isa's company, although it benefits all of the heirs, all 3 children. Well, hi, Don. Welcome in. Whew. Anyway, someone asked me last week about this movie, Jane, and apparently it's going forward as an Amazon project. And Isa has done a lot of work regarding film productions from Phil's work. I was so frustrated this morning I could not get the webcam to work. Turns out that my computer decided that it would not allow YouTube to use the camera. So no matter what I did on YouTube, it didn't change anything. I had to go into the settings on my computer, which I finally did. My hair is kind of flyaway. I washed it today. Wow. Yeah, I guess Jane was a very important part of Phil's life. He felt that his mother blamed him for her death because he survived. I don't think Dorothy really felt that way, but Phil felt guilty about surviving. You know, survivor's guilt. I'm sorry you missed me this morning, Dawn. I was going nuts trying to figure out what was wrong. Ah, computers. Well, anyway, I have put a few um, recorded videos, short ones, on my second channel, Kitchen Challenged Cook. You know, a lot of people prefer the evening streams, but I have listeners all over the world. So who knows what time zone people are in? Hi, Witta. Good evening and welcome in. We just, well, I just gave a thumbnail view of the upcoming movie, the in progress movie titled Jane, all about Phil's twin sister who died as an infant. Well, anyway, it's going forward through Amazon and coming, of course, from Electric Shepherd Productions. It's good to see listeners. I don't know what to talk about, and my back is screaming at me because I did a bunch of decluttering in the yard today, and I pulled a few million weeds too. And I'm getting some help from the county since they got a grant from FEMA related to last year's snow disaster. But I'm really feeling suspicious. They actually want me to go live in alternate housing while they fix my house. And I strongly suspect that they just want me out of the house, away from it, while their workers do whatever they want with my things at my house. It's just like all the other judgmental idiots. They think I'm a pack rat and I keep garbage and it's unsafe. And if there was a fire or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Baloney. I pulled a bunch of crap out of my shed so I could sort it out and send things to the dump. And I'm sending stuff to the dump every week. But I'm not going to just throw everything out because I keep finding cash, jewelry, and valuable things that I can sell and that I do sell. Things that they would just toss in a dumpster and haul away because they're idiots. And yes, there's a lot of trash, but it's going bye-bye, and I don't need them to do it for me. I don't see any previews. I don't think they're that far along with Jane yet. There's just this Yahoo story, and it's in the UK for some reason. It is digging for treasure. Quite a few of the boxes are not mine. There's stuff that other people abandoned and stuff from dead relatives that I just, it made me too sad to dig through them, but I'm doing it now. I've got things that I don't know where they came from. Mostly a rock collection, which is quite a bit of it is things my grandfather found in the Oregon desert and also in the Arizona desert. But a bunch of it is just, I don't know where that came from or how I came to have it. But uh, these polished rocks that are not anything special, I can sell them and I'll show you how. Let me get the thingy. You take a jar, especially a vintage canning jar, from before disposable seals, and you fill it with rocks. I'm never getting the hang of the camera. You can fill it with rocks or marbles, pretty things, and people will buy it to display, as something pretty. Okay, so I have that, I wouldn't say antique, but it's a vintage canning jar and a bunch of polished rocks. Now, some people would just want the rocks for their aquarium or their garden, but it's cool to have them in a jar like that. Let's see. Come on, camera, get centered. Oh, washing my hair makes it really a problem. Tickles, itchies, and fly away. And I get hair in my face. Yeah, well, the canning jars are good. The steels are not as good as they used to be. But all I can is jam, and not that much anymore. It hurts my back to stand there and stir the pot for 5 minutes. I think it's actually longer than that. First, you bring the fruit up to a boil with the pectin in it. So you take the fruit, add the pectin and a little lemon juice, and you get it up to a boil. And that can take 5 minutes right there or longer. And you have to keep stirring it so the fruit won't stick to the bottom of the pot. And then you start adding sugar a little at a time. Uh, Someone's go-kart just went by outside my window. Well, what I do first is add some spices. Cinnamon is number one, and depending on the fruit, I might add a pinch of cloves, or I always add just a tiny dash of nutmeg. You don't really taste the nutmeg, but it enhances the other flavors. And maybe cloves, or maybe Chinese five spice, which is good stuff, and a little bit of salt as well. You don't think of salt as an ingredient in sweet things, but salt is good stuff. It works kind of like MSG. What is nutmeg, Dawn asks? Well, it's a nut from a tropical tree, and let's see, the nut is inside a fruit. They take off the peel, which is not used for anything that I know of, and then inside is a sort of rind which we call mace, M-A-C-E, and inside that is a little nut, which we call nutmeg. Now, mace tastes kind of like nutmeg, but not exactly. Yeah, good point, Don. Chocolate covered pretzels are sweet and salty. Oh, I love chocolate with sea salt. Little crystals that are bigger than what you put through your salt shaker. Well, I didn't know until recently exactly how that nutmeg and mace worked. I had to research it because I knew that there was some kind of spice that comes from the same fruit as nutmeg. And now these cooks on YouTube will take an actual nutmeg, it looks like a little nut, and they'll grate it into the food, and I'm just not there. Not yet. I have a shaker jar that I keep in a cool, dark place so it won't go bad. Don likes black licorice covered in salt. Oh, he says it's popular in Sweden or Switzerland. Not sure which, I guess. Well, hi, Mac Attack. Welcome in. Yeah, I love having mods in chat. They can keep things nice and friendly and calm. Ah, oh, my back hurts. But I filled 4 large trash bags today, and they will be hauled to the dump. And I pulled a bunch of weeds and did laundry and hung it out on the clothesline, and I even remembered to bring it in after it got dry. Let's see. Yeah, that one goes in my pocket. The cats, well, sadly, Patches is gone. I haven't seen her for a week now. I don't know what happened. But she went outside, and she was simply going out like one onto the porch and then coming back in. But the last time she went out, she got adventurous and I couldn't find her. So that leaves me with 5 cats instead of 6. And 3CPO, 3C for short, is out right now. She's been staying out half the night and sometimes all night, which worries me because that's when things happen to cats, is in the dark hours of the night. But Tora's here. I gotta point the camera at her. It's kind of dark. Yeah, there. Here we go. She's all curled up asleep on her heating pad, even though it is not turned on. I got, by the way, this battery powered light, which is why you can see Tora now. Oh, she's kind of in the light from the floor lamp. But yeah, she loves her adoring fans, but she loves her naps even more. So today, I also recovered a bunch of the rocks and shells I'd been collecting so I can sell them. And I collected some kitchen stuff that for some reason was in a box outside. It's probably one of the things that some helpful people moved when they thought it was a good idea to do whatever they wanted with my things at my house because I was out with a broken hip 3.5 years ago, and I'm still searching for things like my grooming supplies and my perfume and important documents. I'd like to kill them, but they thought they were being helpful. Aw, sorry you can't get a cat, Mac Attack. Yeah, allergies to cats can be very serious. Now, when I pull weeds, I have to have long sleeves. And even though it was very warm today, 75 Fahrenheit, uh, I wore the sweatshirt because the cloth is thick enough to protect me from the sap in the various weeds. And of course, I wore gloves on my hands, gardening gloves. How big is my property? It's 45 feet wide and 150 feet deep. So that's a lot of yard to take care of. I did not use the weed whacker today. I want it as much as possible to pull the weeds up by their roots so they don't come back as fast. But tomorrow is weed whacker day. Oh, you evil phone. Come on. Do not disturb. My phone keeps wanting to update the apps. It wants to do that at least twice a week. 45 feet is more than 10 meters, less than 15 meters. 150 feet would be around 50 meters, slightly less. And it's flat, but actually not quite level. I don't notice the slope when I'm walking around, but it does have a little bit of a slope, probably because they want water and melting snow to run off and not stay put. So Mac Attack is a bearded icon there, so I'm thinking male. Okay. But people don't always use their own photos. Hi, Ditch. Welcome in. Okay, I'll post the link again. There's this short informational article about the movie Jane that people were asking about last week. I recorded a couple short videos on my second channel, Kitchen Challenged Cook. One is about the measuring cups, and one is, I forget what the other one's about. And of course, the first one is an introduction to my new channel. But the way you manage the studio on my second channel is different and confusing. Yeah, with the photo of Charlize Theron, I hope I'm pronouncing it right and not butchering it. She really looks like the way Phil would have pictured his sister Jane. Yeah, Jane in an alternate reality. What, Jane? No, it's his real life twin sister who died as an infant. In the movie, she's alive and getting Phil out of trouble whenever she can. But it hasn't been made yet. We'll have to wait. But apparently it's going to be on Amazon. Oh, I'm running out of chocolate. I do have a Cadbury dairy milk. But I'm spoiled now because one of my listeners sent me the real thing, the real Cadbury chocolate from England. And it's so much better than what we get in America, in the US. Oh, I wonder if I could get it from Canada and if that would be like the chocolate from England. The shipping would be a lot less. Yeah, well, there's a lot of people who are, famous people who are big fans of Philip K. Dick. I wish they'd been more vocal and more visible when he was alive. You know, Phil was known for treating women badly. And he often made me angry. But I have no doubt that he was madly in love with me. And that scared him. He was frightened of being that much attached to another person because he'd lost so many good friends, starting with his twin sister. And of course, his grandmother passed away. She was old. His favorite aunt, oh, come on, I know her name. Marion. She died fairly young of a stroke. Oh, hi, Oswald. Welcome in. Celebrating the feast of St. Brendan the Navigator, his patron saint. Okay, that's awesome. Oh, man, I'm tired and my back is screaming at me. Oh, well, let's rock in Great Granny's rocking chair and make the back feel better. You missed Tora's appearance. Let's get her again. She's been out catting around, so she's really tired. They say that cats sleep 18 hours a day. I believe it. But during the 6 hours when they are awake, they drive me crazy. Yeah, Marion was a trance medium. She was into all kinds of mysticism. So when she had her stroke, at first they thought she was just in another one of her trances. But she actually could not move or speak. Thanks, Oswald. I'm glad too. Once again, my computer simply decided that YouTube could not use my webcam. Uh, oh, my nose itches. Sorry. I had to unplug the camera, restart the computer, and plug the camera back in just to be sure that the computer was detecting the webcam. And then I discovered that in Windows settings, oh, itchies and tickles, sorry. In the Windows settings, it had turned off the webcam and said, no, you can't use it. So I set it, I reset it to where YouTube could have use of the webcam. But it's no wonder I couldn't fix it on the YouTube website. It was the computer that was doing it. Oh, Macattack says St. Brendan is Irish. Okay. Oh, oh, Lord. I wish they'd make these little icons bigger. I can see that Witta is a coffee cup. Oswald says St. Brendan of Clonfert supposedly reached North America before the Vikings or Amerindians. Well, I don't know about the Amerindians. Some kind of people were here at least 10,000 years ago. I don't think St. Brendan was that old or that long ago. But, you will not find tribes who's Siberia. Of course, the people of Alaska and Canada might say, for example, say that they came from the east. And a certain tribe known as Anasazi, who are not the ancestors of the Naztecs, or welcome in. It's strange for me to be doing this in the evening, but I could not get my webcam to work this morning. Witta says, a quick web search says, St. Brendan is the saint of the spirit of adventure, exploration, and navigation. That sounds about right. Oh, itchies. I washed my hair today. It shouldn't itch. Oh well. I have, let's see, well, technically 3 boxes, but those are just the ones that are completely ready. two of them to send off in the mail and one to go to a consignment shop. But I have other boxes that are in process of being packed up for such purposes. Uh, uh, wow. The neighbor's dogs are making noise. I gotta make a quick dash to, well, you know what coffee causes you to do. It's just as bad as beer. So I'll be back in a second. Don't go away. Dum de dum, dum de dum de dum, dum de dum, dum de dum de dum. Dumbity dumbity dumbity, dumbity dumbity dum. Oh, yeah. Dum de dum, dumbity dum, dum de dum, dumbity dum, dum dum dum, da dum dum dum. That's Michael row the boat ashore. Hallelujah. Hi, Drowsy Doll. Hi, Eric Surf. Welcome in. I learned that song about Michael row the boat ashore at Girl Scout camp, and Mom wouldn't let me sing it. She said Israel was communist. Uh, whatever. And she would not buy or eat Jordan almonds because they came from Israel. Oh, it's past Mac Attack's bedtime. Well, thank you for coming in and have a good night, Mac Attack. Yes. Oh, wow. Okay, I had something to say. What was it? Um, oh dear. Forgot it again. I thought of it in the bathroom. Uh, yeah. Well, I'm usually falling asleep by 8 o'clock at night, and I did a lot of yard work today. But since I couldn't get on this morning, I just had to come on tonight. Well, Oswald, I know Mom was the devil's sister. I don't know. The whole Middle East is screwed up. Ditch is dealing with something. Um, what was I going to talk about? I had my topic, and then when I left the bathroom, I forgot it. Let's just check and see if 3C wants in. Not yet. Ah, dang. Um, who knows? It'll come to me at 2 a.m. and wake me up from a dead sleep. No, nothing to do with the song. That just kind of distracted me, singing the song. I wish the neighbors would not leave their little dogs outside after dark. I guess there's strength in numbers, but they're little dogs. Ah. Well, I am making progress on the mess and the clutter. Something good happened, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, I got it. I remembered. I finally made enough of a fuss and got my food stamps from the food bank. They usually throw in some raisins, and there's usually some kind of meat, enough for at least one meal, and some bread. But basically, it'll keep you alive, but it won't make you happy. Well, I did break down and spend cash to get a few things. I have to have milk. I'm almost 70 and I still drink milk. I'll drink it plain or with Ovaltine. Doesn't matter. Oh, I love eggnog. Not keen on buttermilk. Originally, buttermilk was the thin, watery milk left over after making butter. It didn't have any fat left in it. The fat was all in the butter. Now it's a fermented milk, real tangy, and I like it in recipes like biscuits and pancakes, but I don't like to drink it. It tastes sour to me. So tomorrow I get a ride to Goodwin's, the store that got crushed last year in Snowmageddon. The brand new building in the same spot with some parts of the old building. The walls and parts of the roof were salvageable because the roof was not all one piece. So around the edges, you know, but they suddenly have wide aisles where it used to be really hard to get through with a cart, and now two people with carts can get through. And it's really nice. Prices are a little higher, but hey, prices have gone up in the past year. And oh man, it's nice. And I'm tired of having to get a ride all the way up to Lake Arrowhead or down the hill, which is scary. A lot of crime down below, just to go to a Stater Brothers. Although I have nothing against Stater Brothers, we love Goodwin's. Drowsy Doll drinks almond milk with vanilla. Oh, yeah. My granddaughter used to drink vanilla milk. She'd add a teaspoon of sugar and some vanilla to regular milk. And one Christmas, I offered her some eggnog, and she asked, "Well, what is it?" I said, "Well, it's like vanilla milk, but it's thick." And what I do is mix the eggnog half and half with regular milk because I think it's too thick. And it still tastes good, and especially if you sprinkle some nutmeg on top. Oh, yeah. Awesome possum. Apparently, according to tasting history, eggnog used to have the egg whites whipped up, you know, what do you call that kind? Well, not just frothy, but really whipped up. I don't make homemade eggnog because it isn't easy to get pasteurized eggs, and I'm not going to drink a raw egg that is not pasteurized. Not in today's food world. Oh, Eric says in Brazil we have cheese bread. I used to be able to get cheese bread. It might be the same thing. It's a round loaf and there's cheese in the bread. I love it. Used to eat it all the time, but I haven't seen it at the local markets here. I was getting it down in Orange County, California, at a Vaughn's. It was the super Vaughn's. What did they call it? Vaughn's. Oh dear. It had a special fancy name and had even more goodies than the regular Vaughn's supermarket. Oh well. Maybe I can make cheese bread. Eric says cheese bread is delicious with coffee. Yeah, I bet it is. Oh, okay. I got my food stamps. Can't find Patches. She's been missing for a week. Poor kitty. I don't think she's ever coming back. And I don't even know what happened. Well, let's see. Oh, Panda Queso. Well, that doesn't say queso, but I learned Spanish, okay? Pan de queso in Spanish. I'm kind of lost in Portuguese. Yes, I know, Eric. You're in, but I don't know Portuguese. I know Spanish, sort of. I don't know a lot of Spanish. Portuguese to me sounds like Spanish and French collided. And Italian also sounds like Spanish and French collided, but in a different way from Portuguese. Yes, queso means cheese, and I don't know how to pronounce that. Is that K-Jo? K-Yo? I don't know how to say it. Okay, let's see. Google is my friend. Queijo. Well, come on. Portuguese. It won't play. Come on, you evil machine. Sounds like Keiju. Okay. My internet just is not strong enough to play it. Ditch describes Portuguese as sad Russian. I tried to learn Russian. Forget it. First off, half of their words are really French. But they hide that fact by using a funny alphabet, Cyrillic. For example, the word in Russian is restaurant, which is French, but they spell it pectagon. Restaurant looks like pectopan. And it means, in English, restaurant. That's the one word I could totally read on a Russian sign. Restaurant. It's important. I believe you, Eric. Brazil has people from everywhere on the planet. My step-brother-in-law, my stepsister's husband, Victor, is from Brazil, but he's German, and he speaks both German and Portuguese. Yes, Oswald, I think Spanish probably is the closest to Portuguese. Oh, they're both descended from vulgar Latin. Yeah. Well, all of Europe used to really strongly push learning Latin so that all the people who spoke different languages like French, Italian, Russian, German, and so forth could communicate with each other in Latin. Oh, Catalan. I wonder what that language sounds like. I've never heard it spoken. That's part of Spain, by the way. Eric says, yes, in the south of Brazil, it's normal. Everyone speaks German and Italian. Yeah, well, after World War II, the Germans and Italians, many of them settled in South America. Eric's grandfather came from Germany. Well, my brother-in-law, Victor, did not come from Germany, but his parents did. They moved to Brazil. I don't see him very often. Anyway, since my father died, and then their mother died, I really don't have any contact with my stepmother's children. I don't like them. The old Saturday Night Live used to have a skit every week about the Loud family, the people who could not speak or whisper, in a normal voice. They shouted. So they were the Loud family. Well, hi, Philip. Welcome in. I wonder where Freeman is. I hope he's okay. Let me see. Messenger says he isn't active today. Words with Friends says it's my turn. Tora, did you come to say hi to your adoring fans, or are you just wrangling for some treats, huh? Poor Freeman. I'm hoping that he's getting the treatment he needs. You don't eat Ritz crackers. Give it up, Tora, and stay out of my coffee. Well, at least you woke up. Knock it off, Tora. What do you mean Moxie isn't a valid word? Evil machine. There, I played a word. Oh, Freeman is fine and Ditch got his book. Freeman has sent me some rather long, digital files. I don't have time to read them slowly for pleasure because I'm busy writing a murder mystery. Oh, I should go on the White Lotus of Light with Walter Bosley. No, thanks, Oswald. Coffee is bad for cats. It'll give them a heart attack. Eric says Portuguese is Romanian mixed with Latin. Actually, that makes sense. A lot of gypsies in Portugal and Spain. The gypsies were called that because the Europeans thought they came from Egypt, but they really came from Romania, and they call themselves Romani. Come on, you evil machine. There. Yeah. Heart attack bad. Bad kitty. Tora, do I have the treats? Where'd I put them? They're clear over there. Come here and say hi to your adoring fans. Yes. Come on. You say hi. Whoops, I'm pushing your head the wrong way. Here. She says, I don't want to. She still feels tired and sleepy. Yes, you do. Oswald says I wouldn't want to do a show with two guests. What's WLOL? I don't know. I just haven't figured out how to have a guest on my show, so I suppose I'd have to do it through Zoom or something. You know, a streaming app. I have a great difficulty trying to see these little tiny icons. Well, alchemy is al-chem, it's Arabic, but probably Arabs in Egypt. But who knows? The Arabs preserved much of the Greek and Egyptian science for us. Science meaning knowledge. That's what it really means. All right, Tora, I'll get the treats. They won't deliver anymore till next Wednesday, unless I go on Chewy. But I ordered on Amazon because I'm an idiot. All right, Tutu, you can have some too. Let's show you Tutu. There she is. Yes, she's a cute kitty. But her sister 3C is outside somewhere. Yeah. Oh, Lord. What a day. Well, the blue light is the control to the speakers on my computer. So, of course, Tutu was lit up with it because it was sitting next to her or under her. Tutu is one of the feral cats that were born under my house last June. And she's getting pretty friendly, but she doesn't want me to pick her up, and she certainly does not want me to hold her. But if she chooses to sit near me, not with me really, but near me, she will allow me to pet her. Anyway, originally the feral cats were Tutu and 3CPO. Well, I'm sorry, I'm doing it backwards. They were number 2 and number 3. Patches was number 1 until she got her name. So Tutu was number 2 and 3C was number 3. And eventually I had to give them names. I couldn't keep calling them number 2 and number 3. Reminded me of The Prisoner. You know, the sort of a sequel to Secret Agent with Patrick McGowan. I miss Patches. But I really don't think I'll see her again. She's been gone for a week. And I have searched the yard. No sign of her. And she should have been hungry by now. Well, frankly, I think that one of the various critters, wild animals, probably ate Patches because she was out after dark. I tried to bring her in while it was still light, but I couldn't find her. The cats are fairly safe in the daytime. Although I don't like letting them out, they insist upon it. Even, what did I name? Oh, Smokey. Smokey Sue, who was a pet cat before her humans moved away and left her behind. Oh well. It's a mountain thing. Most people do let their cats go outside. So I'm constantly chasing off 2 of the neighbors' cats because not only do they want to come in and eat the cat food, but they also fight with my cats. When that happens, Tora comes running into the house, but Sweetie, my elderly feral cat, hisses and puffs up her long fur and scares them away. Yeah, tell the cats don't feed the coyotes. I haven't seen coyotes lately, but there's some idiot who was just like a cat lady, but with dogs. Akitas. They say that at one time he had 50 dogs, and of course he couldn't afford to feed them. And they were running loose all over the neighborhood, sometimes begging for food and sometimes stalking small pets, even attacking other dogs that were on leashes being walked. Just a sec. Got an itchy. Had to take care of it. Oh, goody. They used to sacrifice dogs to Hecate in ancient times. Oswald has been listening to Walter Bosley. We have one, sometimes two, animal control officers. They don't like to be called dog catchers. For the mountain all the way from Big Bear to Glen Helen. It's a huge area, and they just don't have enough officers. No, two is nowhere near enough. We should have two for Big Bear, two for Running Springs, two for Lake Arrowhead, and at least two for Crestline. But we have two for everyone. And sometimes there's only one for various reasons. So if you have an animal situation, but the officer is 20 miles away on mountain roads, forget it. Call the sheriff. They can get here quicker. Gosh, dang it. I'm a klutz. Okay. There, here. Truant officer, huh? Well, animal control conducted an operation in which they trapped feral cats because a home nearby was overrun with something like 50 cats. And then a few weeks later, they conducted another operation to round up the dogs that had gone wild because that fool had something like 50 dogs. But they had to have a special operation and a budget for it to do that. And there's still a few Akita dogs running loose. One time, two of them followed me. I went to the local mini mart at the gas station and bought a couple things, and I think they were hoping for food, but I didn't like the way they were following me. So I yelled at them, get out of here, go, scoot, go home. and one of them ran away, but the other was a little more persistent. But they didn't get too close to me. I guess because I didn't act scared and I was yelling at them, they were unsure as to what to do. I certainly was not going to give them any food because they might follow me home and they would eat my cats. What's unhealthy, Philip? Smoking? By the way, when animal control is trapping feral cats, one of my cats disappeared for a week. Yeah, all the cats in that house. The house with the cats is now condemned. It was so horribly messed up. I don't know about the guy with the dogs, but he was charged with criminal animal abuse and might be in jail. I haven't heard any updates on his court case. Anyway, when animal control traps feral cats, if a cat is spayed or neutered, they bring it back and let it go because it won't make any kittens. And sure enough, my Sweetie, my elderly feral cat, disappeared for a week and then reappeared a couple blocks away, but she found her way home. Someone spotted her at a house a couple blocks away. That's how I know that's where she reappeared. Facebook groups can be useful. I've heard of feral house books, but I've never read one. Oswald. Tora, knock it off. I gave you your treats. Go away. Go on. You're fat. You're going to be diabetic. Knock it off. She's had enough treats and canned food and kibble today. She doesn't need more. Oh, Philip, I don't know much about abduction experiences. I only know my own experience, and I'm certain that they were not aliens, they were humans. And half of the experiences were definitely maybe hallucinations, but I think, there was some hypnosis involved. I was made to believe I was somewhere else with people claiming to be aliens. They looked like humans to me, but they claimed to be our genetic cousins and superior to us from another planet. The one that blew up, which is why they live here now. And they have space flight advanced beyond ours, if you can believe what they told me. And I'm not sure even now whether to believe that story. I've heard of my labs, or is it mill labs? Military abductions. Genetically superior. But they said they were sterile. That's why they needed our eggs and sperm. Oh, the Pope is going to make a speech about aliens tomorrow? Do you believe anything that guy says? He's a Jesuit. And by tradition, the Pope is never supposed to be a Jesuit. Hang on a second. Ah, gotta stretch my back. One more stretch. Lord. Getting muscle spasms. Yeah, they do sound a bit like Nazis, don't they, Philip? If they're so superior, how come they're sterile? Well, actually, RH women can be impregnated by RH positive men, and I'm a case in point. I'm RH negative, and Phil was positive. And I got pregnant and bore a child. However, it's possible in that situation for the second child to be in serious danger from the mother's blood being allergic to the baby's blood. So it's safer if both the man and the woman are RH negative or both are positive. My mother was the second RH negative child of an RH positive mother. I'm sorry, I got it backwards. She was the second RH positive child of an RH negative mother. Granny was RH negative. And when her first child, my Aunt Bernice, was born, it was a very bloody thing. So it's entirely possible that mom suffered some brain damage from being the second child of an RH negative mother. There's a pretty high proportion of Basque people who are RH negative. Ooh, ditch, AB negative, that's super rare blood. Red gold in your veins, yep. Unfortunately, if you want to get paid, they have to take your plasma and put all the blood cells back into you. I gave blood once because when you give a pint of blood or a liter or a unit, whatever, then your body will make brand new blood cells to replace them. But if they put them back in you, see, if you get paid, they have to, because too many people were selling so much of their blood that they were getting severely ill from loss of blood. I think the solution is stupid, but okay. Oh, Oswald is B negative, second rarest. I'm A negative, which is the least rare of the rare bloods. Hi, Jason. Cave. Welcome in. Oh, yes, Philip. His dad has to give blood because he has too much iron. Ah, I've heard of that condition. I wonder if there's any other way to treat it. Oh, gosh. It's past my bedtime. I got 9:20 p.m. Okay. I don't know. My half brother, mom's firstborn from her first husband, was AB, but I think he was positive. That's AB in general is pretty rare. But O negative apparently is not super rare, but it's more rare than A negative. Oh, AB is the Jesus lineage, Oswald said. That's what they say, but how do they know? How'd they get blood from Jesus? Yeah, so they say. How did we get off on this anyway? I suppose because the Jews have been so careful about preserving their genealogy, they might know who is descended from Mary and Joseph. Well, the Turin Shroud has stains that are probably blood, but I don't imagine you could get a blood type from it. Even if it's medieval instead of, first century, it's still hundreds of years old. It would break down, definitely break down by now. Unless Jesus's blood is magical and doesn't break down. I don't know. It's more likely that someone just decided that it should be A, B. Oh gosh. I'm really dragging now. It's been such a crazy time. That trial in New York, their star witness got torn apart on the stand under cross-examination. Cute, Philip. AB for attaboy. Okay. Oh, gosh. Ugh. And more investigations into the prosecutor in Georgia who couldn't keep her pants zipped. Oh, Eon Bite. That's even better. A-V for Eon Bite. Spelled the old way. A-E-O-N. Oh, Chief. Tutu claimed my bed. She's going to have to give it up soon. Yes, Eon Bite is a good podcast, definitely. Oh, yeah. Jason missed that about Amazon is working with Electric Shepherd Productions under the leadership of Issa Hackett, Phil's daughter Issa, making a movie. Oh, Witcha saved the link. Good. I discovered that when you go to a website and the link is like 10 miles long, if you click on refresh, it'll give you a shorter URL, a shorter link. Oh, Oswald wonders if Chapman College has had any Gaza demonstrations. I haven't heard of any. UC Irvine had one. They actually brought in the National Guard to break it up and clean up the campus. Philip, it's a movie in which Phil's sister Jane is alive and keeps getting him out of trouble. She's his twin sister who died as an infant. Uh-huh. Vietnam all over again. That's right, Philip. Only we've got at least two of them. One in Ukraine and one in the Middle East. I'm trying to stay awake. More nicotine, more caffeine. Who knows what's going to happen between now and doomsday? And what's going to happen if the electrical grid goes down? Which cat is that, and why does it look weird? Oh, that's a tail, not a leg. Okay. Cats. Yes, Chapman College sold out and became a university. And they're woke. Oh, Oswald found a news article about Chapman College/University. And their Gaza Solidarity Encampment agreed to dismantle today. They agreed today or they dismantled today? It's 9:28 p.m. here, Philip, because you're in, I thought you said Central Time, Central Washington State. Yeah, we're in the same time zone, but we're the same time as Arizona because we went forward an hour for daylight saving, and Arizona doesn't engage in that nonsense. Oh, the dang San Bernardino Sun, they keep hitting me with a paywall. I'll get a link from Google Alerts or even from San Bernardino Sun email. And I click on it and it says they want some money or I can't see the article. I wouldn't mind if they just ran some ads. I could deal with that, but I'm not going to subscribe when there's only one article a year that interests me. Even though San Bernardino is local to me. Oh, my hair has been shedding out. You see, it's more brown and less gray than before. The gray hairs shed out, but next all the brown ones will shed out and I'll be all gray again. I don't know, Oswald. I'll see if they'll let me see the article. No paywall. They want me to sign into it? Get off of me. Oh, don't miss this special flash sale. No thanks. Ooh, man! The courtyard in front of Memorial Hall is full of tents and signs and stuff. Oh, and you can even get an audio version. Oh, they get to make a present. Oh, blah, blah. Okay. The university will not pursue disciplinary action. Okay, thank you. That's interesting. You can see it free on the Sun. You just have to say, no, I don't want to accept your offer of a cheap subscription. Yeah, who's buying all those tents, by the way? At least at Chapman, the signs looked homemade and not, all printed professionally. I have a feeling the camp at Chapman was homegrown and not sponsored by George Soros. Who is it who says that? One of the podcasts I listen to from time to time. Can't remember the name. Yeah, well, don't they realize that if they went there, they wouldn't live long? Yeah, the Soros of Young Werther. I had to read that in German. The Sorrows of Young Werther. I don't remember how to say it in German. But, that's what happens when you go to college. They make you read books. Uh, it's horrible what's happening in Israel and Gaza. It's horrible. But I have no clue how to solve it. It's a mess. Gee, it was peaceful just a few years ago. And Saudi Arabia and Israel were becoming friends and allies. What happened to change all that? I wonder. True, Oswald, a responsible reading of Phil's work is one of the most potent cures for the transhuman delusion. I'm sure that Soros is a transhumanist. He wants us to eat lab-grown meat or no meat at all, and GMO crops and all sorts of stuff. Etsy Quintia, welcome in. I'm falling asleep. I'm sorry. I'm running out of steam. There isn't enough coffee in the world. But I'm glad I got the webcam problem solved and I can go live now. GN? Ditch said GN. What the heck? No clue what that means. True, Oswald, smoke can only replace steam for so long. And I'm righteously tired. I'm not going good night just yet, but soon. It's been an hour and 40. I did tons of yard work today. I filled 4 large trash bags, you know, the big ones, and pulled a million weeds and brought some things into the house and went through my rock collection, which is mostly my grandfather's rock collection. Got 2 boxes ready to mail and 1 box ready to go to a consignment shop. And several boxes not filled yet, but started with things that can go to a consignment shop. We have more than one consignment shop. And the rocks in particular can go to the rock shop. But the knick-knacky stuff can go to the knick-knack shop. Yeah, classic rock, acid rock, and jazz rock fusion. Around here it's more like rockabilly. We have a lot of talented bands, and they'll play at local bars and mostly bars, bar and grill type places, or at outdoor events. Yeah, rock and roll. It's only rock and roll, but I like it. Oh, itchies. Itchies all over, and I think it's an ongoing side effect of a certain injection. Yeah, rockabilly is fun. And it's mostly songs that anybody in the audience can sing. I'm more impressed by that kind of music than by the stuff that's so difficult that only a professional can pull it off. I think music should be for everyone. Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. Etsy Quintia says Reverend Horton Heath is playing his own version of rockabilly called Psychobilly. Okay. I don't know who that is, by the way. I did see a review of episode 2 of the new Doctor Who. I don't watch Doctor Who anymore, and now I know why. But it had to do with music and the cure for the problems lay in music, which was at the core, they had a really good idea. Too bad they screwed it up. Doctor Who and his sidekick, his companion, ended up in an alternate universe in the 1960s, and the Beatles were talentless. Their music sucked, but all the music in the world sucked. And there was a special song that someone had to play to get rid of the demonic entity that was screwing up the world. Great idea, but they showed which podcast was it? Was I it wasn't Disparu. It was 2 words. I can't remember which channel, but they showed how it was. They had a great storyline, but they didn't follow it through with it. They screwed it up with a bunch of slapstick and wokeness. What? Why'd they detain a 70-year-old historian? Okay, he's an Israeli history professor, Ilan Pape, detained in Detroit, and he's pro-peace. Why was he detained? Oh gosh, no, Philip, it was not the wheels on the bus. The wheels on the bus go round and round. That tune has been used for many different sets of words, by the way. Okay. Let's see. Interrogated by U.S. agents at Detroit Airport. Questioned by FBI. Renowned historian Ilan Pape. Detained in Detroit. Interrogated at U.S. airport for 2 hours over Gaza. Okay. Oh, and they had his phone copied. They want to know if he's a Hamas supporter or does he regard the Israeli actions in Gaza a genocide? And they asked him, what is the solution to the conflict? Okay. All kinds of info on X, formerly known as Twitter. Humph. That's just a quick overview from a Google search. Oh, one time I was in a minor car accident, a fender bender. Not my fault. And the highway patrol asked me if I knew any deputies, implying that I must be some kind of criminal and I'd been arrested in the past. Well, now I can say that my niece's son is a deputy. So there. At the time, all I knew was what I'd read in the newspaper where they published a profile of one of our local deputies. Oh, Philip says that Pape he's literally been writing peaceful solutions for decades now. Oh, and Oswald is linking us to a letter Phil wrote in response to Israel's bombing of the Osirak reactor in Iraq in 1981. Humph. I don't remember that. A letter he wrote to Ron Hendren. Okay. Well, you know what happened when Mulder and Scully found the lamp with the genie in it? Mulder asked for world peace. Poof, he was the only human on the planet. Even Scully wasn't there. Oh, Gillian Anderson went to Oswald's high school. Scully! Oh, wow. Your mascot was the Pegasus. Oh. My high school didn't have a mascot. Mom sent me to this very small school where they were studying all their students. They said they were for gifted children, but they were mostly lazy, spoiled, entitled rich kids. Anyway, my junior high no longer exists. There was a slump in the number of school children in Orange County, California, and one of the schools to close was Trident Junior High. Our mascot was the dolphin. Oh, Oswald says Project Pegasus is the Israeli tech surveillance program. Oh, Philip wants to ask how to make war unprofitable. Good question. Well, when there's war, the fat cats in DC get fatter and our children die. Not a very good trade, in my opinion. Uh, oh well. Um, I had a train of thought, but it left the station. There was something about Pegasus. There's that movie called Wish, and the toy stores have a Pegasus from that movie. Nobody's buying it. They don't even like the movie. And of course, there's the Pegasus in the which movie company is it that has the Pegasus in the opening credits where they say a Paramount production or MGM, or I guess MGM doesn't exist now. One of them has a Pegasus. I forget which one. Let's see. I'll bet Google can tell me if I can come up with the right search terms. Movie company logo, TriStar. And Pegasus is also the mascot of Metropolitan Film Export. Okay. Thanks, Oswald. I think you're faster than Google, but I was on the other tab. TriStar. Correct. Oh, Pegasus. The story of Pegasus is awesome. You really ought to learn Greek mythology if you can, because it has some great stories. And boy, those Greek gods just couldn't keep their pants on. Especially the males, they'd see a human woman and go nuts. Sounds like some current theories about hybrid humans. Horse feathers. Cute, Philip. Oh, man. My back is killing me. Let's do that. Ah. Whew. Oh, tired. I think I'll put on one of those 11-hour videos of Nero Wolf radio shows. I'm hoping that 3C will come home and come in. Still not at the door. Sometimes she stays out all night. She's much more wild than her sister Tutu. Ah, Dr. Farrell, Joseph Farrell, talked to Whitley Strieber again. Yeah, they're always very interesting. Philip Blair says, Male monkeys try to get their girlfriends drunk too. They bring fermented fruit to them. Oh, and they have bar brawls too. Yeah, well, uh, I don't know what you're correcting. Oh, I see. Well, you can always blame the spell checker that finishes words for you when the grammar's messed up. Frankly, as a recovering English teacher, I'm getting over it. As long as I understand what you said, I'm cool. Except, well, like, especially on the news, I am going to is not pronounced I'm gonna, and it certainly is not I'm gunny. And professional, you know, teleprompter readers should be a little more careful with their enunciation and pronunciation. Manu, really. Philip says I'm more audio anyway, so I notice mispronounced words more than misspelled. Yeah, I get really upset when I have to rewind and play something again to figure out what they're saying. You know, it's like your highly paid professionals learn how to talk a little better than a 3-year-old, please. I don't mind when it's just an ordinary person talking. They aren't being paid to inform the public. And lately, I've heard quite a few, especially lawyers, being interviewed on the news using a completely wrong word that's similar but not the same. I guess lawyers learn the law, but they don't learn English. I can't think of an example at the moment. I'm nodding off. It has been 2 hours. And Witta used to believe that lawyers were intelligent. Now she's met too many. Well, just be thankful you haven't met Michael Cohen. He's already done time in prison for perjury, and he's a star witness. I'm just flabbergasted. Is that the best they can do? No, I'm not I'm not MAGA. I'm not wildly in favor of Trump, but I hate to see our legal system used the way it's being used right now. And we won't survive another 4 years of the status quo. We simply won't survive. We're barely getting by now. Let's see, Philip saw a researcher from Switzerland talk about how in former East Germany, people are less vulnerable to propaganda than in former West Germany because they have a more finely tuned propaganda antenna. I can't see the whole post, so I'll scroll the chat up. Oswald says, all we get is cheap propaganda described as journalism. Oh, okay. Yeah, they used to have on news shows the news and then a separate segment of opinion or commentary. Now that it's all mixed up. All right, I gotta. Well, you know, 4 years ago or more, I had a little money in my pocket. And prices were a heck of a lot lower. And now, ah, even though my Social Security is like 2% higher than last year, it's buying less and less. And I try to watch the Biden, what do you call them, speeches? Or, when he talks to the press. I can't tell what the guy is saying. It's like mumbling. Yeah, the plastic surgeons, cosmetic surgeons say that Biden has all the signs of too many facelifts. Uh, it's it's horrible. And as far as the press secretary, what's her name? Uh, she always calls on that Peter guy from Fox News, and it's looking more and more like a setup to me. If they really don't like his questions, why do they always call on him? And I just don't understand what the goal is. What's the point of it? And Biden has more hair now than he had 20 years ago. Hair transplants, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. My parents used to talk about how movie stars got plastic surgery and it really looked awful. They didn't look younger, they looked deformed. And even though there's been a lot of progress and it's better than it was in like the 60s and 70s, it's still not a good idea to get repeated surgeries over and over. Just not a good idea. Ah, wow. Ah, Lord. I think what we need is God. We've become too secular, too much into pleasure without responsibility. Not all of us, and some more than others, but we've forgotten to be kind to each other, which is really the core message of religion. You are kind to each other because you worship God. And God says, be kind to each other. You know, that's the major point of don't murder people, don't fiddle around with your neighbor's wife, don't steal your neighbor's donkey or cow or whatever. Philip Flair found a neat book about how cosmetic surgery for petty criminals reduced recidivism rates back in the 1950s, if he remembers right. Well, that's possible, although when I worked at the prison teaching English, actually many of those women and men were darn good looking. Con men and women, I guess. Oh, there was a book about cosmetic surgery for World War I veterans. Etsequentia is rooting for God, but old school God with lightning and thunder and wrath, that kind of God. Yeah, well, God was correcting his people when they screwed up. For example, when they failed to um, enter the Holy Land when God told them to, he didn't kill them off. He said, okay, you'll wander in the desert for 40 years until you learn your lesson. And mostly until you idiots are all too old to complain when the young people grow up and take responsibility and do what God told them. He didn't just go, all right, a curse on you, you're all dead. He didn't kill them, he corrected them. Gotta make the chat scroll up again. Oh, Thursday for Thor. Yes, the god of thunder, Philip. Well, I like a sermon filled with fire and brimstone. But that's just me. I actually enjoy violent movies, but not slasher movies. And not football. Bunch of guys running around after a ball, whether it's American football or what we call soccer, which is football everywhere else. Although I don't understand why the sports leagues don't advertise women's sports more. I mean, who wouldn't want to watch a bunch of women in bikinis tossing a volleyball at each other? Even women probably enjoy that. I mean, they could get more sponsors and more advertising money and so forth. You know, if they promote women's sports. More, you know, I wouldn't take a sponsorship from Bud Light right now or Target, but they'd have more audience if people knew about it. More people would watch women's sports if it were actually broadcast on TV or streamed on the internet. Yeah, there's big problems with women's sports. Especially when a certain person just doesn't take hormones, doesn't get surgery, just puts on a dress and says, I'm a woman now. Well, excuse me, you aren't taking hormones, you haven't had surgery. What is it that makes you a woman? Well, I say I am, I identify. Okay, but you're not going to play sports with a bunch of teenage girls. Not going to happen. That's how I see it. That's what I would say. That's a good one, Philip, but I'm not reading it out loud. Yeah, I don't care much about sports, although I do enjoy the equestrian, the horses. I keep forgetting Bruce Jenner's new name now that he's a she. He's against trans athletes in women's sports. Is it Caitlin? Okay. He or she says you just can't change the fact that you have more muscle, you're taller. You know, that's too much advantage. Oh, Field of Dreams is the closest Witta has come to watching sports. Caitlin, thank you, Etsy Quintia. I've seen William Shatner's horse with someone else driving the little cart, and it's the I keep forgetting now. I forget what those horses are called, but they're high stepping. Anyway, his horse was named, had a cool name, something to do with space.